Erling Haaland just scored twice against Brazil, but his biggest numbers aren't only on the pitch. The World Cup star has built a fortune through football, luxury homes, cars, watches, and a $1 million bag collection. Keep watching as we break down what Haaland's $100 million lifestyle actually looks like. Every rich life story about an athlete needs a contract at the center of it, and Haaland's is one of the strangest in football history. Not because of the size of the number, though that's obscene enough, but because of what the number was designed to prevent. Manchester City had a problem. They had a striker who was still in his early 20s, already the best number 9 on the planet, and every big club in Europe knew it. So in January of last year, City did something no English club had ever done before. Manchester City signed Haaland to a massive new contract that runs through June 2034, locking him up until he is 34 years old, effectively buying the rest of his prime and removing the constant Real Madrid transfer rumors that follow almost every global superstar. 9.5 years, the longest deal in Premier League history. Here's what that actually pays him. Haaland's current Manchester City base salary is £525,000 per week, which works out to £27.3 million per year, roughly $700,000 per week, or around $37 million per year, before bonuses, endorsements, and image rights income. Break that down and it's genuinely absurd. Per year, about £27,300,000. Per month, just over £2,250,000. Per week, about £525,000. Per day, around £75,000. And that's just the floor of what he earns, not the ceiling. Because Haaland's deal isn't a flat salary. It's loaded with bonuses that he triggers almost automatically just by doing his job. Haaland's contract is famous in the football world for being heavily incentivized with massive, highly attainable performance bonuses, triggering incredibly lucrative financial kickers for simple metrics: score a certain number of goals, hit certain appearance thresholds, win certain trophies. The money stacks. When these weekly bonuses are triggered, his actual take-home pay inflates to anywhere between £850,000 and £900,000 per week, roughly $1.1 million to $1.15 million USD per week, around $60 million a year just from City. Some reports push that even higher. Haaland is playing this World Cup on a Manchester City deal that pays a reported £525,000 per week in base wages, the league's highest, and can swell toward £875,000 a week once his near-automatic goal bonuses kick in. And the total value of the paper he signed. Total base value runs past £245 million, and with bonuses, reports put the full package well beyond £300 million. Now, the reason this contract matters isn't just the size, it's the clause City deliberately removed. When Haaland moved from Dortmund, his deal had a release clause, a number any club could pay to trigger a transfer. City wiped that out entirely in the new deal, and they got tested on it almost immediately. This past June, a man running to be president of Real Madrid stood up mid-campaign and told the world he'd sign Haaland the moment he won the election. City didn't let that slide. Their statement was blunt. The stories which have emerged from Spain regarding the future of Erling Haaland are false. There is no chance of this happening, and there is no contractual clause to enable it. We are considering legal action for the use of our player's image. That's what 9.5 years and hundreds of millions of pounds buys you. Not just a striker, a fortress. Haaland himself has talked about the weight of being the guy every rival club dreams about signing, telling GQ, "It's a lot of pressure on me. But I like the pressure. I would put a lot of pressure on Erling Haaland if I wasn't Erling Haaland myself." To understand how he got to this number, you have to rewind. This wasn't always $37 million a year. At Brian F.K. and Moldy, between 2016 and 2019, his first professional wages were estimated at a modest few thousand euros per week during his academy years. Then came Red Bull Salzburg, a significant first jump, where he scored 29 goals in 27 games and caught the attention of Europe's biggest clubs. Dortmund is where the real money started. When he joined Borussia Dortmund in 2020, he earned around €8 million per year, equal to approximately $8.7 million. Already a major salary for a young striker. But it quickly became clear that Dortmund had landed one of the most valuable players in the world at a bargain price. Then City came calling, and the number that got him out of Germany wasn't even that shocking by modern standards. Manchester City signed Haaland in 2022 after activating a release clause of approximately 60 million euros, around $65 million, immediately viewed as one of the best value superstar transfers in modern soccer. His first City contract paid him £375,000 a week. Then the extension roughly doubled it. As one breakdown put it, the pattern is clear. Haaland's pay has roughly doubled with every major career move, and his goal output has justified each increase. That's the salary story. But a wage, no matter how enormous, is only half the wealth equation. The other half is what happens off the pitch, and that's where things get a lot more interesting than just a paycheck. Here's the thing about Haaland's endorsement story. It almost didn't happen the way everyone assumed it would. For most of his early career at Dortmund and City, he had no boot deal at all. He was a free agent walking around in whatever brand he felt like wearing, and three of the biggest sportswear companies on earth were fighting to change that. Rewind to 2022. A previous agreement with Nike had come to a close in January of that year, leaving Haaland free to wear footwear from rival manufacturers Adidas and Puma. He'd had ties to Nike since he was 14 years old, while Adidas's chief executive Bjorn Gulden was actually a close family friend. That's not a small detail. The head of Adidas knew this kid personally, and it still didn't matter. Puma made a real play too. City's own kit manufacturer landed his teammate Jack Grealish on a 5-year deal worth £50 million, the largest contract ever handed to a British footballer at the time. Haaland tried the merchandise on for size, literally. He wore Puma Ultra boots at his City unveiling and Adidas X Speed Portal boots in the Community Shield final against Liverpool. But then he showed up in Nike Mercurial Vapors for his first Premier League match against West Ham. That single choice of footwear told the entire industry which way the wind was blowing. His camp knew exactly what they had. His agent, Rafaela Pimenta, working alongside his father, had been talking up the deal for months before it happened. Pimenta had claimed in October that her client would sign the biggest sponsorship deal in the history of football. When the ink dried, Nike had beaten out Adidas and Puma both, in a deal reportedly worth around £20 million a year. Haaland made it clear to all of his many suitors that comfort and product satisfaction would be determining factors for him over any financial rewards, though the financial reward turned out to be plenty large anyway. It was signed as a 10-year agreement, tying him to the swoosh for essentially his entire prime. Today, that Nike relationship is the anchor of everything he earns off the pitch. Haaland has a lucrative deal with Nike, which earns him roughly $20 million yearly off the pitch through sponsorships. A 10-year deal signed in 2023. It's not his only commercial partner either. Another endorsement Haaland has besides Nike is the Chinese herbal tea brand Wang Laoji, where he promotes Norwegian seafood. A genuinely odd pairing that shows just how global his commercial reach has become. Added up, and as one breakdown of his full financial picture put it, his all-in earnings run to roughly $80 million a year, 5th in world football and 1st in the Premier League. Split $60 million on the pitch and $20 million off it via Nike, Breitling, and an equity-flavored portfolio. Yes, Breitling. Watches are part of the empire too, alongside a growing list of other partnerships that treat him less like a footballer and more like a walking, sprinting billboard. And every one of these deals feeds the same machine. A 25-year-old who was once a kid in Brine, being paid a boot brand's family friend's rival company millions of dollars a year because of what his right foot, and honestly his left foot, and his head can do inside a penalty box. But here's where the story stops being about what brands pay him and starts being about what he does with it. Because unlike a lot of athletes who spend their prime years cashing checks and letting it sit, Haaland has been buying aggressively, and that buying spree takes us straight into his property empire, which, it turns out, started years before most people even knew his name. This is where the story shifts from how much he makes to what he actually owns. And it turns out Haaland was building a property portfolio before he was even a superstar. The first move came before he'd even turned 21. Long before becoming one of soccer's highest-paid players, Haaland reportedly made his first significant real estate investment in southern Spain, purchasing a home in Marbella before his 21st birthday. A purchase that fueled speculation he could eventually move to La Liga, even though that transfer never materialized. Think about that. A teenager, barely established at Salzburg, already thinking in terms of property rather than just paychecks. Even at the start of his professional career, Haaland appeared to be thinking beyond the next transfer window. That Marbella move wasn't random. It runs in the family. Haaland's dad, former professional soccer player Alf Inge, also previously purchased a home in the area. The Haalands, as a family, had already staked a claim on Spain's Golden Mile before Erling became a global name. The villa itself grew into what's now considered the crown jewel of his portfolio. The luxury mansion in Marbella is valued at approximately $7 million, spanning more than 22,000 square feet with resort-style amenities designed for both relaxation and privacy. Other reporting adds the finer details. The villa has several spacious bedrooms, large living rooms, a pool, sauna, and huge garage. Then came Norway. In 2023, with his city career only just underway, he bought back into his home country. Haaland invested in real estate in his home country of Norway in 2023, snapping up a £2.6 million apartment in Oslo's Sommerå development, a development attached to a five-star hotel in the capital. It's a quiet, symbolic move. No matter how big he gets in England, he's kept a foothold at home. And then there's Cheshire, the move that really tells you Haaland was ready to put down roots in England for good. For his first couple of years at City, he rented in the city center, and by all accounts loved it. But eventually he wanted his own space. Citing land registry documents, it was reported the soccer player splashed out £6.2 million on a 10-bedroom mansion in Cheshire, not too far outside of Manchester, with a source saying, Erling spent a couple of years living in the city center and loved it. But he's been keen to get his own place and put down some roots. The scale of that Cheshire estate is what makes it stand out. Even among elite footballer homes, the property reportedly includes 10 bedrooms spread across 4 stories, along with a private lake, swimming pool, landscaped gardens, a coach house, and extensive garage space with additional improvements already approved, offering privacy away from the spotlight while remaining within easy reach of Manchester. It's also notably close to former teammate Jack Grealish's old place. As one insider explained it at the time, Jack moved out a year ago, and Erling is a frequent visitor. He likes the area, so started looking and found the perfect place. The bonus is that it's just down the road from Jack, so they can still spend time together off the pitch. Put the whole portfolio together and you get a picture of deliberate, spread-out wealth. Spain, Norway, and England, each property serving a different purpose. Marbella is the family holiday base. Oslo is the tie to home. Cheshire is the private guarded English base near the club. Altogether, reporting places the value of that real estate at more than $30 million. And that's before you even get to the part of his life that has nothing to do with square footage at all. The part involving engines, leather seats, and a fashion house most footballers have never even heard of. This is the part of Haaland's rich life that turns heads even among football fans who don't care about real estate spreadsheets, because it's the part you can actually see: the cars, the bags, and a business portfolio that reaches into chess tournaments and animated Viking movies. Start with the garage because it's the most conventional footballer wealth story on this list, and it's still enormous. The multimillionaire owns an envy-worthy collection of expensive cars, including Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi. The showpiece of that collection is one specific vehicle. That kind of money allowed him to build a mega car collection, and a Rolls-Royce Cullinan is the most lavish he owns, costing £300,000. Now here's the part that genuinely surprises people who assume every rich athlete just buys watches and supercars. Haaland's real obsession, the thing he's actually become known for in fashion circles, is handbags. Not just any handbags. While Manchester City's superstar striker dominates headlines on the pitch, his off-pitch passion lies in a highly lucrative alternative investment, an ultra-exclusive collection of Hermès Birkin and Hack luxury bags. Most people who see photos of his collection assume they're standard Birkins. They're not. Haaland has built a jaw-dropping luxury bag collection estimated to be worth over £1 million. And while many fans mistake his bags for standard Birkins, he's actually a massive collector of the Hermès Haute à Courroie, or Hack. These aren't just expensive purses, they're the ancestor of the Birkin itself. The focal point of his collection is the oversized Haute à Courroies line, originally designed in the late 19th century to transport saddles, and it heavily inspired the iconic Birkin handbag. Other estimates on that vault push even higher, putting the total value of the bag collection above $1 million outright, alongside the sneaker collection sitting in a separate room of its own. And here's why collectors take this seriously, rather than dismissing it as a footballer's flex. These bags appreciate. Rare Hermès pieces are treated as genuine alternative assets in the investment world, not unlike art or watches, which means every one of Haaland's purchases is functioning less like spending and more like adding to a portfolio. Speaking of portfolio, this is where Haaland stops looking like a normal footballer and starts looking like a young entrepreneur test-driving completely different industries. Haaland is carving out a name in business through Pillage, his Luxembourg-based investment company backing ventures across finance, technology, and real estate. The chess move is maybe the strangest and most specific example. Haaland's latest confirmed business move came in March 2026, when he made an angel investment in Norway Chess. And around the same time, he teamed up with Norwegian businessman Morten Borge in forming Chessmates, a company built around competitive chess events. A World Cup striker, quietly bankrolling chess tournaments back home. Then there's the film. The Manchester City star is set to make his feature film debut later this year by voicing an animated version of himself, a Viking warrior named Haaland, in Vikings, an adventure comedy from Norwegian director Harald Zwart, who also made The Karate Kid and Agent Cody Banks. A cartoon Viking, voiced by the real thing. Other reporting adds gaming and fashion to the mix as well. Investments in a gaming company, a stake in a sustainable clothing brand, and his own esports outfit branded under his name, alongside long-running partnerships with EA Sports that put his face and stats inside the world's biggest football video game. Every corner of his money is working. The salary funds the lifestyle funds the collections, and the collections increasingly double as investments in their own right, which brings the whole picture together. The wages, the sponsors, the houses, the garage, the bags, the side businesses, into one number that Forbes and Celebrity Net Worth keep landing on from completely different directions. But numbers on a page don't really tell you what any of this feels like, or where it's actually headed. For that, you need to look at the man behind the spreadsheet, where he came from, who's still around him, and what happens next now that the entire world just watched him do it on the biggest stage in sport. Every rich life story eventually has to answer one question. Where did this actually start? And who's still standing next to him now that the money is this big? For Haaland, both answers trace back to the same small Norwegian town and the same family living room. He didn't discover football late or get scouted out of nowhere. Erling Haaland began his career in the small town of Bryn, Norway, born to former professional soccer players Alf Inge Haaland and Gry Morkdal, and he started playing for his local club, Bryn FK, at the age of 5, scoring an astonishing 64 goals in a single season by the time he was 10. The talent was obvious immediately, and it kept escalating. At 15, he was signed by Norwegian powerhouse Molde FK, and his breakout came in 2018, when he was called up to Molde's senior team as the youngest debutant in the club's history, then scored 8 goals in his first 14 minutes on the pitch, setting a new record for the most goals in a single Eliteserien match. His father is the reason he had a head start. Most academy kids never get. Alfie Haaland spent years playing professionally in England himself. including a stint at the very club his son now anchors. Alfie Haaland, a right-back and midfielder, played for multiple teams in England from 1989 to 2013, joining Nottingham Forest in 1993, then playing for Leeds United, where he scored 8 goals between 1997 and 2000. He later moved to City himself, before a bad injury from a tackle by Roy Keane eventually pushed him toward retirement. That whole history, the years in English dressing rooms, the knowledge of exactly what a Premier League contract negotiation looks like from the inside, is part of why Erling's camp has always negotiated so aggressively. His father sat alongside agent Rafaela Pimenta through the Nike negotiations and has been a constant presence through every major contract decision since. Family extends past his parents now too. Haaland has been with his partner, Isabel Haugseng Johansson, since his Salzburg days. They reportedly began dating when his career took off at RB Salzburg, and she has since followed him to Dortmund and Manchester as his career progressed. They've kept their relationship almost entirely private, but Pep Guardiola let one detail slip publicly after Haaland became a father for the first time, saying at the time, "Sometimes Erling has been judged badly, but it's part of football." He's become a father for the first time in the last few days. A lot of emotions and an exciting few days for him. So that's the family circle around the fortune. Now, what does the fortune actually do for him day to day, beyond the mansions and the cars sitting in garages? It funds a level of preparation most footballers his age simply can't access. Part of his salary and endorsement income reportedly goes straight back into recovery and performance, nutritionists, sleep science, personal training staff who travel with him. It's an unglamorous use of money compared to a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, but it's arguably the most important purchase in his entire financial life, because it's the thing keeping the goals coming, which keeps the bonuses triggering, which keeps the whole machine funded. And the machine shows no signs of slowing. Every projection on his financial future points in the same direction, up, thanks to his otherworldly performance over the last few weeks, his decade-long Manchester City contract, and the endorsement explosion that is almost certainly coming. Few would be surprised to see his net worth double in short order. And by the next World Cup in 2030, when Haaland will still be just 29 years old, he may very well be the richest active soccer player in the world. That's the trajectory. A kid from Brighton who scored 64 goals as a 10-year-old is now sitting on a $100 million fortune, a 9-figure contract that runs until he's 34, a Nike deal that outlasted 2 rival bidding wars, a real estate portfolio spread across 3 countries, a garage full of Rolls-Royces, a vault of Hermes bags worth more than most people's houses, and side ventures ranging from chess tournaments to an animated Viking movie. The salary got him in the door. Everything after that, the houses, the bags, the businesses, is what he built once he was standing inside it. And if the last few weeks on the World Cup stage are any indication, the version of Haaland's fortune we're looking at right now is still just the opening chapter.